What's up everybody, it's Andy here again from CryptoComparer.com, bringing you another cryptocurrency video. So today we're just going to look at our weekly Monday top 5 cryptocurrencies, see where the market's at, and we'll go through each currency in a bit of a breakdown of our trading view charts. So we see the market's took another plunge today, 2.28% down on Bitcoin. Obviously, because a lot of the other coins, altcoins follow Bitcoin, we're seeing another drop. The only real coins up is obviously Tether, with nearly 8 billion input into Tether. Tron, obviously after the update to Tron as well, but it's still, obviously Tron's still down on where it was last week. Everything else is down. Again, stablecoin. If we just have a look at the biggest 24-hour change, there are some coins jumping, but not much. Not really anything to obviously sing home about. Yeah, no stable coins as well. So, okay, so like I say, we're going to do this as a weekly thing now. We'll look at the top 5. We'll probably update it to the top 10 weekly cryptocurrencies. So for some of you who do a lot of trading analysis, you may think that the trades that we do and the trading view charts are quite basic. We are aware of this. We are trying to educate the uneducated into cryptocurrency and teaching them the basics. We may look at different in-depth charts at a later date, but for now we just obviously want to show people and try and educate people to how to read charts, what's a candle, wicks, trend lines, support lines, resistance lines, and it's something that we're going to be looking at a future video series, and maybe we'll do a playlist as well, a how-to guide, so to speak. So the first one we'll look at is BTC to USD. We're using HIT BTC for this. It's just because we do some day trading on this one. But if I just open it up here, we'll have a quick look at the daily. So we just zoom out. There you go. So basically we talked about the dive, and you can see here that it consolidated after that drop last week. It kept bouncing off this 20-day moving average. Obviously the volume wasn't coming in. It stayed oversold on the RSI, and then basically broke down below the 20-day moving average. What I can see, like I said, we talk about here, so we broke below the 20-day moving average, retesting the 37.15 support. So we use volume wells to check on some of these. If it just resets itself, it's round about there. Obviously the different volumes from the time of writing, and we hopefully should see a bounce off this 50-day moving average. You can see it's starting to turn up now. If we was to draw a line roughly on this chart, as long as there's volume still coming in, let's have a look. Should go something like that. And then we should obviously see a bounce over the next day or two candles, because you can still see there is still a sell-off. With obviously this other dump today, we see the RSI in the overbought zone, which we talked about. However, there is also a downward trend on the MACD, indicating we're still very bearish short term. So you can see that the downtrend now on the MACD. We need this obviously to be oversold completely to change round, and we need the MACD to cross back over before we see any sort of upturn. So I do think we're coming down to the 36, 37, and we'll consolidate in this area. We'll take a look at the ETH chart. Again, we're using HIT BTC for this. There are lots of other exchanges out there. It just depends which exchange is favourable for you. We tend to use HIT BTC and Bitfinex. So we've got here Ethereum has failed to stay above the 20-day moving average as of the 2nd of March, and the rejection of the 20-day moving average on the 3rd sees ETH fall to $129 at time of writing, which was this morning. We had a bounce off the 50-day moving average. However, we remain bearish, and I see ETH trading sideways across the 50-day moving day average for the next few days, and a retest of the ascending trend line at around $118. Okay, so this was the last week's line that we said we were looking at doing a buy zone. Obviously this was before similar kind of pattern to Bitcoin, which we've just seen, and time to bounce off the 20-day, broke below the 20-day on the 2nd. It's continued to go down. You can see if we zoom in here, the wick, it tried to raise above the 20-day, couldn't, bounce back down, and within the 3rd day, and it's just had a nice bounce off this 50-day moving average. Again, we're oversold on the RSI, and the MACD has crossed down. I do see us probably trading in this little channel here. We'll probably trade along the 50-day. If we break that $127 mark there roughly on the volume, well, we are going to look at a retest of this, I think, before we bounce back up. XRP, Ripple. Since our last analysis of Ripple, it again tested the resistance from the descending channel around 34 cents, but could not break above. Has now fallen below both the 20 and the 50-day moving average. So we'll just get that up a second. We'll use Bitfinex for this one. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so XRP has had a bounce off the ascending trend line in green and the support at 30 cents. I see Ripple trading sideways along the trend line, resistance line at 32 cents with a break above, hopefully around the 11th of March. So you can see here we've got this, if we zoom out, we've got this ascending trend line here. We've got the support that we had at the 30 cents mark, which is right on here. And then we've got this line here, which is trending. We need to kind of break above this. You can see there's not much volume. It's obviously going down. It's crossed over on the MACD. I do think we'll probably channel chop around here, and then we'll break out around here, which is around about the 11th, and try and get above it. EOS. Okay, I've not really done much on EOS. I keep saying I'm going to buy some EOS, obviously with the DAPS thing. And we do have quite a lot of people contact us on the DAP space now to do reviews and video reviews on EOS, but it isn't something I've looked into at the moment. Let's have a look. So EOS broke below the 20-day moving average, and with the RSI oversold and the MACD crossing shows more selling pressure. We see EOS testing the support of $3.06. Hopefully the 50-day moving average continue upwards. We see a nice bounce off this and a retest of the 20-day moving average short term. We'll see EOS trading sideways within the volume well channel between $3.06 and $3.45. So it's the same as all of them really. You can see the volume well here roughly. Obviously it changes as that's buying and selling pressure. But you can see that again it's broke below the 20-day. It's bounced. You can see there's the kind of support line here. I think it's going to come down and retest this. If it breaks this, obviously it's going down. We're going to look at, we want this 50-day moving average to carry on moving upwards, and we'll probably meet around here, and then we'll just kind of bounce back into in this volume where, like I say, until it fills, and then look at breaking above it to last week's and try and get into this $4.50 if we see a turn in the market. Lastly, Litecoin. So I did hold a lot of Litecoin. I sold it towards the beginning of the year. I should have kept some if I'm honest, but you can see Litecoin's kind of doing its thing. So again, it hasn't changed since last week's analysis. There still has the major resistance at the $52.50, which is here. You can see it's tried to break this a few times now, which is unsuccessful, and support around about the $44 and $45 mark, which is there. You can see we've gained support. We kind of bounced off it again here. If you can just see there, come back. If we can break above the $52.50, then we can see 56 short term, which is what we called last week. It's still fighting to stay above the 20-day moving average. As long as it can hold, then we'll retest the $52 level. If not, it's going to trade sideways at 45. So it's kind of a bit bearish, and it's kind of trading sideways. No one seems to know what the market's doing at the moment, and obviously that's reflected in here as well. If we just reset the coin market caps, and it's not really doing anything. You can see we kind of traded there, we've dropped back down again. Yeah, it's one of these things. I do think we're near the bottom of this market now. I do think the bottom was at the 3200. I probably think, if anything, the next month or two we probably will retest that bottom. We may not get below 32. It'll probably go to the 3500s, but I think we need this retest. We need this final shakeout, get rid of the last of the weak hands, so we can actually call a bottom then, and we can turn this market around. But yeah, that's it. We will do some other videos. We've got a review to do of some new dApps that I've launched on Tron. But until next time, everybody, goodbye.